to continuing coverage here of the BC Open presented by Discmania on Parked Pro. It's Jake Elliott, Blake Hurdle back with you here for round number 2 as we move to the horse course here at Campbell Valley. But first, we'd like to thank our patrons of Parked Pro for the continued support here of coverage on Parked Pro and disc golf in Canada, and to the PDGA of Canada for their support here on disc golf initiatives in the country. Campbell Valley, Blake Hurdle, almost 8,000 feet, and a fun track to get around here for round number 2.
Yeah, the InDesign is the horse course, if you will. It's a great track. We got nice scoring conditions, nice day. Look forward to slinging some plastic here.
A bit of a change to yesteryear's horse course. We'll allude to that as we move along, but let's take a look at our featured card here, our lead card for day number 2, and we begin with Jefferson, Oregon's Scott Withers.
Scotty Withers, AGL and Clash disc thrower, a great power backhand. Look for him to be shooting well. He's won this event a few times before.
Not surprising he has won A, B, and C tiers. A little surprising he's won a D tier. Not sure what that is. Here is Chandler Fry, who sits in second place. Had a good day 1 as he sits at minus 13 for the Chanimal.
Yeah, Chandler Fry sporting the Thought Space jersey there, throwing for Infinite. Great, smooth, buttery swing and good putter.
And now it's Colin Bryant out of Anacortes, Washington, as we get a look at Colin Bryant here for the first time this weekend. 86 overall for this young man.
Yeah, 10.05 rated, youngster getting his game going. I haven't seen too much of his game, so we're looking forward to seeing what he's got.
Pretty lanky body and looks like he can spin it pretty good. And now local product is a little airtime here for White Rock, BC's Erik Hjorth-Olsen.
Yeah, T-Town guy plays a lot of his disc golf at Windskill, one of the first courses in Canada. And we're looking forward to seeing our local guy throw it here.
No fun facts for Erik. He's got no idea. You got a fun fact about you, Blake Hurdle?
Do I got a fun fact? I love pinball. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. Well, you just did tell me. There's Heiserbaum Hong, as we'll get a quick look at the FPO chase card here. I believe coming up 18 at Campbell Valley, and there she is, Sophia Dunica tapping out for her final putt of the day. As fun fact here, Blake, there will be FPO coverage here on Parked Pro, and Sophia Dunica and Gabby Lee will be bringing you the coverage.
Some familiar faces here from the Ace Pod podcast.
There's Taylor Chosick, and fun fact, again, Blake Hurdle, all 3 of those ladies, Gabby Lee, Sophia Dunica, Taylor Chosick, have all been on the Ace Pod podcast. So there you go, a little synergy here. As speaking of Gabrielle Lee, here she is teeing off on the final hole, and unfortunately for Gabby, comes up a little bit, maybe a lot bit short there on 18.
Why do they call this the horse course, Jake?
I mentioned earlier the ponies like to get out here, and if you don't know what equestrian is, Blake, that's where they do the jumps, the triples, the doubles. There's faults involved, and Olympic events, and this is a big property for equestrian horse riding here. Another fun fact, I can't believe we've done this many fun facts and we're barely into the coverage here, but I've also broadcasted for equestrian once in my life.
No way. You don't strike me as an equestrian guy, Jake.
No, I am not, but got asked to do a job and I never turned work down. As we'll look at another OB shot here from Rachel Mowens, as her and Julie competing on the same card, I believe, as Gabby Lee will look to save par from the drop zone, and will be a bogey on 18 for Gabby. As here's Julie of the Mowens.
You have OB right behind the basket here, so some tentative putts here, just because they don't want to be costing more strokes.
Oh, I can't lie here, Blake. I also had that putt on day number 2 at the BC Open, coming up short on my tee shot on 18 as well.
Yeah, you're not the only one, that's for sure. It's a little cheeky back there.
Yeah, nice little gallery gathering around for the ladies as well. So yeah, don't forget, Gabby Lee, Sophia Dunica will have FPO coverage here on Parked Pro, and I'll definitely be checking that out here for watching the ladies at the BC Open.
Traffic, good band.
There you go, Julie Moons tapping out as you get a look at their card score, and kind of alternating courses here between the men and the women when the fellas are teeing off a bit later here. But day 1 at Raptors, day 2 here at Campbell Valley, and then we'll go back to Raptors Knoll for day number 3 as the final cards of the FPO card finish up their round, as we'll get a look at the FPO leaderboard. And there she is, Canada's most successful or top talented. I don't know how you want to phrase that, because I don't want to take anything away from other great female Canadian disc golfers, but maybe we'll say I think the highest ceiling for a female disc golfer in Canada for Sophia Dunica.
And there's a Rebecca Dawn clicking at her heels, getting better and better every day. So we're looking forward to the young Canadian talent picking up the pace here.
Yes, the young junior world champion is Sophia and Taylor. Just checking out each other's disc golf bags, I suppose. I think one throwing Innova, the other throwing Discraft. So I'm not sure really what they're discussing there, but just comparing some discs. As we will turn our attention to hole number 1 here at Campbell Valley, 320-foot downhill a little bit, par 4, and tight kind of landing zone around this first pin.
Par 4 for you maybe, but out here it's par 3.
Excuse me, did I say par 4? There goes the perfect broadcast right off the top. Par 3 here on number 1.
Yeah, a bit of a layup for the first hole. Get rid of those, mitigate those first tee jitters. We've got a hazard to the left. You can swing it out as far as you want to the right and make your up and down.
Lots of room to land out to the right for sure, as we'll get a quick look at the MPO Chase card here. And this will be a familiar face and name, as Big Maple Thomas Gilbert sitting at 7 under, well back, but you never know. Tommy can pop up with a hot round at any moment. And I think that's going to be a judgment call here for the card on whether that one is in or out, as we watch this guy on day number 1, Blake Nicholas Culver.
Yeah, throwing something real stable here. And it looks like he's going to sneak into the hazard as well here.
Just past that white line, as you can see on the right, and kind of opens up the forehand to come in here as well if you want to come at it from the other direction. A lot more landing zone to the right, as Tyler Schrock at 6 under. He'll send it way out to the right, and he's going to have a long approach to the basket on this par 3.
Yeah, he put a little extra hip into that one. He's going to have a nice little up and down for a par, maybe.
Keep an eye on this young man, Alex Olsen, as another one of these rising young players from south of the border, Blake, and he puts that one right inside the bullseye.
Buttery smooth hyzer there.
So they will make their way up to the green on number 1, and we'll watch this hole finish out. And, of course, this is hazard here on number 1. So if you do end up in that hazard, you are putting from that location, and that's the way you clutch up right there. Culver will send it home from, what, about 33 feet out or so?
Yeah, that's a tasty rip to save his par.
Gilbert also deemed in the hazard, and he will try and save his par, but off the front of the band, or bucket, I should say. And that looked like a bit of a nervy putt there on hole 1 as well, and you can't come up short from that area. So a couple bogeys on this course, and this will be our lone birdie as well here for young Alex Olsen. I don't think he's missing this one. I don't think you're missing that one, Blake Hurdle.
That's actually my danger zone right now. It's 6 to 10 feet. I don't know. I got the yips.
We've all been there. Gilbert, disappointing bogey for him. We'll tap out, and we'll have a look at the tee shot for Alex Olsen as he puts this one nice and tight to kick off his round here on day number 2 at the 2024 BC Open, presented by Discmania. The InDesign course, we talked about this, Blake, off the top. A bit of a tweak and a redesign here at the Campbell Valley course due to some wet grass, some lawn mowing issues, originally done by InDesign, but the tournament director, Craig Sheether, as we watched Scott Withers tee off on number 1, had to make some adjustments to this course, and I think he did a really fine job with what he had to work with in the amount of time that he had to work with.
Yeah, a couple of the holes that were going to be removed, I really liked and was worried about it. And then when we played the course, I realized that this new layout is actually really great. As we see a nice shot from Chandler there.
Puts it fairly close for Chandler. Is going to the sidearm is Colin Bryant, as he sits at 8 under and starts the day 5 shots back of Scott Withers. And now White Rock's Erik Hjorth-Olsen.
I can see the wind picking up a little bit as the shirt ripples.
And the wind definitely can and probably will play a factor here at Campbell Valley. It's a very open property, and there's some elevation involved as well. As Birdie Luck will sail left for Bryant.
This is not a bad spot, actually. I got to putt from up here, and it's a little confidence instilling when you can look right down at the basket.
See some people get down on a knee for that putt just to kind of get a little more level for the basket, but Olsen putts nice and hard and straight. And that one is in for 2. Nice start for Erik Olsen.
That one had some horsepower on it.
Here on the horse course as Withers checking the wind, and you can see that grass flying back pretty stiffly out of the hands of Withers as he lines up his birdie putt from the plateau.
As he makes the right calculation, I think that wind read was for the camera there.
Birdie putt looking solid for Withers. And talk about Scott Withers here a little bit, Blake, because a lot of success for him. I think over 50 career wins throughout his maybe even way more than that. I should probably double check my facts, but he's had a lot of success up here at the BC Open, down south throughout Washington and Oregon. Just a really well-rounded player.
Yeah, we actually asked him how many times he won this, and he said he wasn't even sure. So somewhere around 3 is what we came up with. But he's the director of development for a boys and girls club, a nonprofit. So he's got a full-time job, and he's a dad. And so touring, not the easiest thing to do. But, I mean, he's thrown for a lot of people, Discraft, and all his companies now, Clash, AGL. He's a mastermind at throwing the thing. So happy to have him up here. Just a real wizard of the PNW.
Solid short game, forehand, backhand, good putt. He's got all the tools to be a successful disc golfer as we fly hole number 2 here, 650 feet, Blake. A tough dogleg left where a lot of players are kind of shooting the gap, and then it's a long second shot. I think these pros, however, may be taking the alternate route here and going up and over what is a fairly significant tree line coming into this guarded pin here with a lot of trouble on the right-hand side.
Yep, grab something stable, rip it through the gap, take your upshot, mind this OB hazard here.
Withers will be the first to tee, and you can see the angle that he is taking on this tee shot. And he's taking the direct route high above those birch trees, and let's see if this has enough carry here. And I think that's going to be safely just maybe right on the edge of the fairway, and we'll have about 85, 90 feet to the bucket from there.
He's going to have a really scary upshot, looking right at the OB.
That the more traditional line on this hole here from Erik Olsen, who puts it right out on the fairway, and that is just fine.
Yeah, smoother than margarine.
Chandler Fry looking for the Withers line, and he's got the power to do it, but that's a bit of a grip lock there for Fry. But still a stable enough disc where that thing will move and finish in the right direction, but a little bit short there by his standards.
See what Colin can whip up here. Love the form.
Just textbook stuff right there for Colin Bryant. And he is safely aboard the fairway as well. So Fry, after that short tee shot, the first to approach.
We've got some real fluffy grass out here, so the discs are going to stop pretty quick.
Not a good effort there from Fry, as that's going to leave him well outside the circle and straight on putt towards the hazard here. It kind of had that similar type of putt on day 1 at hole 2 at Raptors Knoll.
This is a silky smooth windup.
And really thick grass here around the property, so when your disc hits, you're not getting a lot of skip, not a lot of ground play, not a lot of roll here on this kind of strawy grass around Campbell Valley.
Oh, that's a dart.
Beautiful shot from Olsen, who is within range as Withers lines up his second. It looks like he's going to the forehand. Stand still, and that's a tap in for Withers. As here's that putt we were talking about for Fry, going right towards the hazard here. And you got to have some conviction if you want to make that one. And you could see Fry just didn't really want to give that one a full bid.
As you see Scott giving a rip there, making good.
So 2 for 2 for Withers to start round 2. As he gets off to a hot start, and now Bryant should be able to clean this one up rather easily, and in it goes for a 3.
And a quarter sky, we made the birdie.
And Olsen will have no trouble as he'll tap out on number 2 for a birdie as well. So it looks like 3 birdies and a par here as Fry, the lone man, not to card the 3, as we'll move to hole number 3. And this, a very interesting hole with a pin that is essentially on a peninsula with water on either side. And this is a very tricky tee shot.
Real nervy shot. Cheeky little rascal, this one. We had a couple of lost discs on our card.
Just 280 feet in length, and like I said, downhill, but then you get to the green and you see what awaits you. I think, if you want to just kind of accept your fate a little bit, you can kind of pound one over that land area. Even if you do go out of bounds, you have a relatively short par putt, but this is very tricky too if you want to try and find a landing zone to give yourself a putt. And then you have the decision to make when you get to that area, because if you miss your putt and go OB, then you're taking bogey.
I like the wide hyzer out and let it come back towards the basket.
Well, let's see what Withers wants to do here now with a 6-shot lead as he tees off on hole number 3. And that one catches water. We saw a splash there, and we're going to have to check the lie for Withers, whether that got to land or not.
This one a little inside and a little hot.
Yeah, that's just kind of a bailout zone over there, and probably a chip up of some sort to try and salvage par. Bryant, sidearm, and this has good height. Is the length right here for Bryant? A little deep, and he'll have a decision to make on his birdie look.
He'll be facing the peninsula, so that's a little bit nicer look.
Fry with a par start, and you can see his reaction as he does not like that, but he'll like the finish on that one. I don't know what he's so disappointed about. That is about a 21-foot look for birdie there for Chandler Fry. Dangerous shot for Olsen, and he catches the basket, and that might have been a good thing. If he misses any metal there, that thing is going to be wet. Fry, a layup.
I love the spirited effort by Olsen, though.
And Bryant, no trouble there for the youngster as he just puts that up and over that equestrian feature there, and then right into the basket to card the 2, and a little flare there for Bryant as well. And what's the decision here with Withers? Looks like he's getting relief for his stance here and deemed inbounds for Withers, who is going to have a tap in for birdie. Fortunate break there for the champion.
Yeah, he's going to love that. Getting away from there with the birdie.
Olsen will drop in his part, and Fry will do the same. And for Chandler Fry, trying to run down Withers here in second place, off to a bit of a lukewarm start here with 3 straight pars.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd rather be throwing the disc in than placing it in the bucket here.
Again, the form, this time the forehand of Bryant, and man, that makes me jealous kind of watching that. Here's our scoreboard so far through day number 2, and Scott Withers. Is anybody going to be able to catch him? He's got a 6-shot lead. He's 3 under through 3 holes here on day number 2. Looking good atop the leaderboard.
Another local product, Luke Mason here, tied for 9th.
Love to see it. Thomas Gilbert, Casey Hannemeyer lurking around back there just ahead of Chandler Fry as well. And our first sighting of Carter Aarons on the leaderboard.
Don't forget about the torque monster, Carter Aarons.
All right, hole number 4 here at Campbell Valley, and this one pretty straightforward here, Blake. Wide open tee shot, a bit of an obstruction around the basket with that large bush.
You do see a hazard here to the left, so the safer play is a big bombing hyzer out the side, and then to come back at the basket from the right side here.
And we'll see how our lead card here wants to attack the 4th. 419 feet should be reachable for most of our players here from the tee pad, shooting slightly downhill. Scott Withers will lead us off. Backhand here for Withers, Blake, and He gave that one a pretty good tug, but he will have an open look from the backside. So Withers showing off his power there. Put that thing about 435, and we'll have a putt back towards the basket.
It's a safe play. You give yourself a chance at birdie.
High hyzer here from Bryant starting to finish, and right around where Scotty is, they'll have a similar putt.
As you see, Erik just gets it and goes.
Not a lot of time wasted on his pre-shot routine, and Olsen will come in inside the OB line, and we'll have a good look for a 2 from there. And we'll see if Chandler Fry can get started here on the 4th. This one turned over a little bit, Blake.
Oh, it's a full flexing shot. It's going to end up in a great spot for him to take a look at the birdie.
It will be circle 2 for Chandler Fry. And it'll be Olsen the first to play. So maybe not circle 2. If Olsen's going first, Chandler's got to be closer than that. And yeah, and here on this second look, that's going to be a great spot for Chandler to have a go. And in it goes for Chandler Fry, his first birdie of the second round.
Jams it in. Love to see that.
Now Withers, you would expect to make here as he goes with the stepper, and first blemish there for Withers as he'll have to accept a par on the 4th. And Bryant will do the same as he just leaks that one a little bit right.
I think he had a bush to contend with, couldn't go straight at it, had to straddle.
And talk about that. When you can't throw your normal release, your normal height, your normal speed, you have to adjust your putt around a tree or under a limb. How much does that affect you when you're throwing a putt like that?
Well, a lot comes into it. It could be wind, it could be the putter, it could be what obstacles you have and how you have to get around them, what angle you have to put the disc on, how much spin you got to put on the disc. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into all the math and equations that you need to make your putts.
So the answer I'm hearing there is it affects it a lot.
Now, the answer I think you're looking for there is I don't know.
There's Fry with his long birdie luck, and we'll see if that gets the Chanimal started here in round number 2 as we'll make our way up the 5th hole here at Campbell Valley. And again, Blake, wide open off the tee. Remember, winds whipping around here a little bit in late July in BC, and another well-protected green coming in here to 5 with the bushes and the equestrian features here. And if you want to land this thing inside the circle, you're going to have to throw a pretty perfect shot.
We are exposed out here. This is the part of the course that is the most susceptible to wind, and we're looking to get up and down into the basket here.
Quick word from our sponsor. We're back after this.
Your rating is one of the most valuable things you get with a membership. This gives you accurate numbers to track how well you've been doing and your overall improvement in the game. You also get a member number when you register with the PDGA. Your PDGA number is a stamp for when you got involved in the sport. It's a badge of pride for players and a part of your disc golf identity. Get your number today. Visit pdga.com/join.
Welcome back, and another thank you to the PDGA of Canada as Chandler Fry, after the birdie, tees off here, sitting at 10 under, and he's going right at it, and will come up a little bit short, but should have an open look for 2.
Put a pretty good move on that one. He might even have a circle 2 look.
Here's Withers up the hill. Trying to throw a bit of a turnover at this green, and this thing's moving right nicely, but starting to fade out here, and we'll skip right up where Chandler is. Both those guys will have birdie looks. And are you a little surprised to see everybody kind of taking the straight, direct approach to this hole, Blake? I would thought maybe a hyzer angle coming in would have been the more prominent play.
It's just such a far hole that you can almost get there with, that you really want to bite off as much as you can to make your upshot that much shorter. These guys can spike one in there, no problem.
Bryant, the first to go at the green, and that went off the top of the bucket right there, and I think it sat down fairly close, but what a bid there for Bryant going right at it.
Gave that basket the what for there.
An early bush for Olsen.
See if you can get up and over.
Here's the look for eagle and just passed on the right side. As I apologize, this par 4, of course, not a 3. And Withers, that's the second in a row off the painted yellow band at the top of the basket. But we'll still card a birdie here on number 5, as will Chandler Fry.
I'm sure these guys would love the eagles, but nonetheless, take your birdies and move on.
And that looks like what our entire card just may do here. So nothing ventured, nothing gained here on number 5, as everybody will get in for a 3, but they're all chasing Scott Withers here, who leads on day number 2. 5 shots over the next 3. Fry, Bryant, and Olsen all trying to run down Withers as they update the graphic. Make that 6 now, as Withers the last to tap in.
So watch a beauty slow-mo of this buttery, smooth hyzers.
Half a foot lower, and that thing is cashed in. Per 6, Blake, and this an interesting tee shot here at Campbell Valley. First off, you get a beautiful shot of the scenic mountains way off in the distance. But this is a hole where you go up the hill, you come through this kind of gap area, and then down the hill. You don't see a lot of disc golf hills where you go up and down on the same hill.
Yeah, this shot is effectively blind from the tee, so these guys are having to mark where they want to throw the disc, finding their spot in the horizon, and they're going to give it a poke because it's a bit of a drive here.
Wide open basket to attack on your approach. Not a lot of trouble here, but it all kind of comes down to getting yourself a good tee shot to go at the basket. On your second shot is another par 4 here at Campbell Valley, and one that all 4 of these guys should probably get, as Chandler will send it away, and this thing is on a great angle. Will it come back enough? And I think that's going to catch up in the foliage there, and we'll see what kind of stance Fry has as Withers next to play.
This thing fading back, it looked like it had a bit of turn on it, but it must have been something really stable.
And again, with that angle, he should be able to go at the basket from there without trouble. I think that landed in the openings. You just saw the card in front, still finishing out on the putting green, as Colin Bryant will give it a go. And this one moving right as well here, Blake. It's got to get back, and it's starting to work now here for Bryant, and that is a perfect spot.
Yeah, blasted up the right side of the fairway. These guys are going to have downhill looks and sticky grass, so they can attack.
Quick run up for Olsen, and same area as where Bryant was, and he should just finish off to the left-hand side, and we'll be just fine there for Olsen, who will be first to play on his second down the hill.
Gives the forehand a sling, and it's leaking towards the basket. He's going to love that.
I love it. If I love it, he's surely going to love it, as Fry from out of the trees, and just one of the most smoothest releases in his short game.
Yeah, what a buttery, soft little up.
He'll have about 22 for birdie from there, and now Bryant to the sidearm.
I love the tempo of Bryant's sidearm there.
A lot of arm action in that sidearm, and you can probably get away with that kind of forearm when you're young, Blake. I don't know if that's going to work for him as he gets a little later on in life. Some landscaping being done here for Withers as he goes into the tree, and deadfall there, Blake, so completely legal to move essentially a half a tree.
Yeah.
Don't see that very often. Oh, somebody's going to come and help out.
Nice.
Tip your caddy.
Got to get these guys to my house, do a little yard work.
Yes, indeed. Withers to the backhand and turns this thing over and towards the basket.
Faded out a little bit on him. I think he wanted to get that one a little deeper with a little more turn.
Right. Dead center. Birdie.
Never a doubt there. That was a committed shot.
I think putting one of his best attributes, and he shows off his skills there. Is now Fry's turn for a 3. Putter starting to heat up here for Chandler Fry.
Yeah, scary for these gentlemen on his card, because once he gets going, he's tough to stop.
I think he tapped the basket intentionally to be getting Withers' kitchen a little bit there, who mentioned on the pod, Blake, that is his very biggest pet peeve, is guys that tap the basket after they putt out.
Little head game starting early here on the par 4/6.
Our first star hole, Blake Hurdle, as all four gentlemen card the 3 on number 6. Which gives us a chance to check in to the overall leaderboard here once again on day 2 of the BC Open presented by Discmania. Scott Withers continues to lead by 6 and off to a hot start here on round 2, 5 under through 6 holes.
Yeah, we see some familiar faces here. Casey Hannemeyer, tied for 6th right now. He is a Canadian champion, and not to mention Big Maple right under him there, ready to do some damage in the back 9.
And we see Luke Mason and Carter Aarons disappear from the leaderboard. Not sure what happened to those two. Maybe they'll make a reappearance. We shall see, as lucky number 7 here at the horse course, 700 feet in length. Got to get a good tee shot off here to give yourself a good angle on that second shot, and then treble left, treble right, OB to the left, natural OB to your right when you're approaching this green.
Yeah, you definitely want to hang this out to the right so you can approach this with the best angle possible. You have OB close behind the basket. You're left with a fairway shot sometimes where you can throw into the OB and get the Ricky par.
That's pretty much what I did on day 2, I believe, Blake, if I recall correctly.
This is just grab something big and throw a hyzer bomb.
And again, exposed to the weather conditions here on number 7, a wide open and just kind of a swirling wind around the top of the property here at the top of the hill of Campbell Valley. And Chandler Fry with a fairly decent tee shot. We'll have a straight look to the bucket from there as Withers the next to play.
As you see him take a rip with a nice stock hyzer. He's leaking a little left here.
He's down just in time here, Blake, I think, for Scott Withers, who will be inbounds playing his second shot.
See the low punishing drive here from Bryant.
Oh, that is nice. Good disc selection for sure. But then again, you see, once that disc hits the ground here at Campbell Valley, there's not a whole lot of skipping going on after first contact here in the long grass, as Olsen will drive it out there. And this one moving a little bit right as it starts to stable up late.
As you see his disc make the horse jump there.
Well done. Clean, as they say in equestrian, Blake.
Oh, is that what they say?
Olsen on his second. This one leaking right. Needs a little help, and awkward stance to come here for Erik Olsen for his birdie look.
Yeah, just cooked it out a bit too much.
I like how Fry's got the matching Thought Space towel to match his jersey. That is high level swag right there.
Chandler's a guy that he thinks if the discs look good, they're going to fly good. So I see that's going into his attire as well.
I'm on board with that. I think the better the disc looks, the better it's going to fly as well.
Look good, feel good, play good.
There's a good play from Colin Bryant, who will have an uphill look back towards the basket for birdie. And now Withers from below the basket will go to the standstill sidearm, his specialty. And a little action on that one. He's within 8 feet for birdie. And now Fry out of essentially the jungle. Watch out. Some prickles right in front of him here. And this is a bit of a precarious position.
Yeah. He might need a phone call here. He's in jail.
Reaching, and look out now. That one sailing high, and he might have a longer putt coming back than he just had.
Jake, you're going to the Slammer. Who's your one phone call?
You.
I'm probably calling Discmania, see if they got any P2Xs.
Fair enough. Touche. Here's Fry trying to save his par, and no. For Chandler, is that one off the chains and out? And this is not a hole you want to walk away with a birdie from. Or a bogey from, I should say. Bro, you do want to walk away with a birdie. Withers, clean.
Yeah, Colin Bryant's looking great. That putter's looking confident. Like seeing the pace and the wind here.
So he'll stay within 6. Fry will bogey and drop back. And Olsen will get his par, and they'll move to hole number 8 on what is a bit of a cooler day here on day number 2 at the BC Open. A little cloud cover up there as well, but there is wind. But it's fairly good playing conditions here, I would say, for the BC Open.
Yeah, these disc duelers should be happy. Last year, it was stifling hot. It was 30 degrees and everyone was sweating through shirts and it was ugly. So here we have the par 3 hole 8, the 315-foot touchy downhill with a sloped fairway. You got OB tight to the right. I think it's a thumber, but
yeah, you think every hole's a thumber. I think most of these guys will go to the forehand. They have the power to do it, or you can throw a bit of a long, slow anhyzer at it as well. But got to have the angle control right, no matter which throw you throw here. On the modest 8th hole, I think this is a must-get here for all these guys. They're looking for 2 here on 8.
OB deep left. You don't want to end up short right. This has got a nice move on it.
See the distance and a little long for Scotty, but should be within his range. We'll see if he can card the 2. Is Bryant going to go to the forehand as well? West side thrower. What do you think there, Blake? Maybe a hatchet?
Hatchet, maiden, whatever you're into.
Right around that stick there, and that should garner a decent look. Is Olsen forehand as well. And it's the thing about these players, Blake, of course you're going to be a predominant one type of thrower or the other, but all these kind of guys around the top of the leaderboard here at BC Open have both shots, backhand and forehand, in the bag.
At this caliber, you need to have both. You need to have all the option shots available to tackle any kind of wind or any kind of shot shape. You see Chandler chewing one off a little early here. He's going to take this.
I just love the release, though, on the short, long birdie, short approach shots that he has. Just a little flick of the wrist.
Yeah, he's got to get these P-Blend Infinite myths to start dropping a little more here.
Olsen for a 2, and that one well to the right, and a little work left on that one. Should be okay, as Withers now coming back up the hill a little bit.
Look at that buttery smooth release.
Oh, no change required for Withers as he finds the back of the basket, and that's touch.
Little bucket dweller.
I don't know if we're going to get another look at that one or not. I think we should.
It looked like it was already in slow-mo.
Right, the best tee shot of the bunch. Oh, and that one just hangs in there as well. It tried to escape the basket, but a little metal friendliness there as that one rolls back into the basket and drops in there.
Yeah, that gets the heartbeat going, that's for sure. Great looking putt there.
3 for Fry. And this should be a 3 for Olsen as well, as they're through 8 holes here on day number 2. Man, he putts hard.
Yeah, that's a hole these guys are going to want, but they got to shake it off and got to move on.
Yeah, just 315, and that's the thing about this course is you don't get now there's the look at the Scott Withers, but watch this thing enter the basket on the backside. And a little fist pump from Scotty.
That's flavorsome.
And that's the thing I was saying, you only get one crack here at the horse course at the BC Open, and there's probably a lot of shots out there. By the end of the day, these guys are going to be going, man, I'd like another chance at that one, and you're not going to get it. As maybe my most favorite hole here on the Campbell Valley course here, Blake, the number 9 par 4 520 and a winding fairway to a protected basket in the trees. This hole is a beast.
Your favorite, my nightmare. They changed this year. Last year, you could take a big wide hyzer and they threw a Mando in to force you through this hellish snake gap. And the rough on the left is treacherous, and you got wasp nests on the right, and you got a basket way tucked in behind here at the end. So,
well, they will try and either throw a kind of a short forehand here off the tee and just put them in good position for their second shot, or we may see a bit of a kind of a flex line to work their way down the fairway a little bit. Looks like Scotty's going to go to the forehand here and something mid-range, upshot-ish, and try and just settle right there, and should be fine for his second shot.
The common mistake is blasting into this bush on the left that you see fading.
Oh, just avoids that, but does kick a little far to the right, and we'll have to check his footing as Olsen next to go. And this thing is a way too far left, and that is going to be nasty for Olsen on his second.
Yeah, it's definitely trouble in there. Really dense, really prickly bushes.
There's that flex line we were talking about, and Fry almost got it right, but catches trees, and we'll have to check his lie. Is either the Sasquatch is in there, maybe a deer, or it might even be a disc golfer as well. And yes, a piece of plastic does come flying out of that bush. Who's in there? It's Erik Hjorth-Olsen.
Yeah, he actually did good to get out there. I've been in there, and it is tough.
Now you can see the basket way down your monitor there as Withers on a hyzer line. And that might be a challenge to have a clean look from there as Olsen next to play. This one coming in high, but should settle.
You love the energy. He just grabs the disc, winds up, and lets her go. Sneaks one in there, and you should have a nice little circle one putt.
Tough shot here for Chandler as he's got to go to a knee and go to a forehand. And man, did he get a lot of power on that from that position.
Oh my.
That is ridiculous. Long.
Gonna have some branches to deal with in there.
So almost a perfect tee shot here for Bryant to go right at the basket for his second. And he's left this one a little low and a little short there for Bryant. That'll be a disappointing second shot there. See if he can make good on his third. Oh.
It doesn't even matter.
How about it from Bryant as he cards the birdie from about 43 feet.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll tell you he's happy to make up for that mental error he had on the last shot. So
right on the pole, too. That is an impressive-looking putting stroke there for that young man.
Nice having a little confidence with that going into the back nine, too.
Absolutely. He'll run it down and out the back door here on the ninth green as Withers will, like we thought, Blake, is going to be a little cut off here trying to attack the basket for his look, but he'll whip a little sidearm at it and just too much angle to try and make the disc work.
Yeah, did about as much as he could do there.
Olsen is in. Remember, he had that chip out of the bush. Otherwise, that would have been a three, but a wasted stroke there will give him par. And now Fry, look at the fortunate bounce he got there. Those trees held him up right within 10 feet of the basket. And he gets out with the birdie. So gaining a stroke here is Chandler Fry on number 9 as the front side is done here at Campbell Valley on day 2.
Yeah.
Another look at that flex forehand from the knee here for Chandler Fry as it moves all the way past the basket and leaves himself with a short birdie putt, which he converts on. Quick look at the chase card. Carter Aaron's in for a birdie, and Thaddeus Tinkley will do the same on hole number 13.
Good to see Casey Hannemeyer making good on his bid. He's looking to take another one of these down.
Canada's top MPO players for sure, as 9 holes in the books here on day number 2. Let's have a look at the scoreboard. Blake Hurdle, Scott Withers continuing to lead by 6, but now it's Colin Bryant who is trying to run him down.
Yeah, a bit of a commanding lead here, 6 strokes going through the back nine here. I think he's going to look to make some smart calls, get his birdies, take his birdies when he can, and we'll see who can chase him down.
I really like the back 9 here at Campbell Valley, the horse course in Langley, BC. We're at the BC Open, and more coverage will continue when we return. The back 9 on day 2 here on Park Pro is next.